Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa D'Amico, curator of Shine the Light virtual art exhibit, and I'm here speaking with the super talented artist Keith Salberg. Hi, Keith. How are you?
Hello.
So,
Thank
Keith,
you for having me.
oh, it's such a pleasure, and I love your piece in this exhibit because it's so different than everything else in this exhibit. You work on wood, and this piece is called "Shine On You Crazy Diamond." I love the story behind just the title. So if you could take us there to start with.
So back in like 2014, 2015, I was reintroduced to my passion, which is art. I always thought I was a painter, always thought I was an artist, but never felt good enough. But then I ended up, coming into a personal issue of my own. I suffered from a mental illness called alcoholism and drug addiction, and it brought me into back into my artwork. And I kept hearing a song play in my head, which is by Pink Floyd, "Shine On You Crazy Diamond." And I kept hearing people say, "Be a beacon of hope for the people that are still sick and suffering from mental illness." And I basically, reconnected to my artwork through getting, clean and sober throughout that time. So that, like, it just, when you mentioned my interpretation of Shine a Light, that's basically what Shine a Light meant to me, was, being a beacon of hope for the people still out there, that they still reconnect to their passion, whether it be art, an art form of drawing or painting or any type, singing, anything that really sets your soul free. That's basically, to me, what Shine a Light meant.
That's great. I love that. Your pieces generally are on the smaller side. So I kind of feel like this exhibit was kind of a good marriage for the way you work.
Actually, I have to totally disagree with you right there. That piece was probably one of the smallest pieces I've worked
Really?
on. Yeah, most of my pieces, if you look on, either Instagram or Facebook, at Sundance Kid 83, you'll see that most of them are actually on a larger scale. Like I have built, from scratch, I have built a Viking shield, and it's like a life-size Viking shield that is literally huge, and then there's pieces that are like wall-sized, pieces. So when you had mentioned about doing a 10 by 10, I was like, oh shit, that's tight. But it actually opened up a brand new world of mine. And if you look on social media, you'll see that I've been working on smaller stuff. Like I've been making these tarot cards now, and they are basically 9 by 6. And it's probably like the smallest, sizes that I've worked on, which, if it wasn't for you guys having me do a 10 by 10, and I totally cheated on the Shine of Light thing, I have to admit. I took an inch off of the one side and added it to the other, so it's actually 9 by 11. I'm sorry for that, but yeah, it's not. The most of my work is actually a lot bigger than that. The smallest I usually go is 12 by 12.
Okay. Well, I love it. That's amazing. And now I'm going to look at your social media even closer. And I think everyone else should as well. And I'll include that when I post this video so people can follow you and enjoy your work just as much as I do, and probably even more, because what you do is, like I said, very different than every piece in this exhibit. I'd love for you to tell people a little bit about your process and the time it takes and the steps you take to create it.
So I basically repurpose everything I use is repurposed. So like, again, and back in 2015, I started noticing a lot of people were throwing out good furniture with like old wood and old hardware. And I loved that old vintage style. And I would like literally take it all apart, clean it, strip it down, take all the stain off of it, and then recreate it into a piece of art. Back in 2015, I was just taking a plank of wood and drawing on it and doing the wood burning, and that was it. But as the years progressed, and as I've progressed, I've started to turn them into like a butcher block. If you look at a butcher block, you'll see the slats and the strips. So I take a plank of wood repurposed from, furniture that I find, and I strip it down into like 1-inch strips, and then put it on its side, and then glue and clamp them for about 24 hours. And then I strip it down again, sanding it, cleaning it, planing it, and cut it into size. And then, obviously it's everything I do is all hand drawn. There's no stencils, there's no CNC machines. It's all, I look at the picture and I draw it. And then I do the wood burning aspect to it, the pyography they call it. And then I coat it with something called tongue oil. Minwax makes a tongue oil. It basically seals the wood and preserves the color that is in it. And sometimes I use stain to do the colors, but most of the time I use colored pencils and or paint to add for that pop effect. But then there's the after that is the drying time for the polyurethane, and then the hardware process. So in all total, like there's a lot of hours put into each piece. Each piece is totally different that I do than any other piece I've ever done or any other piece that I see. And each piece has, I want to say like at the least like 10 hours at the most. There's probably, I think, like I said before, was that Viking shield. I had over 24 hours involved into creating that shield, because it was planks of wood all glued together, and then routing down into the wood to give it that depth, and then hand drawing the graphics on, and then pyography, and then the color, and then the feeling, and then it's a lot.
Wow. Well, for everyone listening, I strongly recommend that you see Keith's piece, and you can experience the mastery and the creativity that he puts into everything he creates. Just go to insidesmall.com. And again, I will post your information so people can follow you and go on your art journey with you. So thank you so much, Keith.
Thank you.